Have you ever felt that everything was against you, that everything was happening to you, that you had absolutely no control over your external circumstances, and life was just simply beating you down? Well, being a person in this state of being, we will often feel powerless over our life. We'll have a tendency to blame others for our negative experiences. We'll look for others to fix the problem, situation, or the crisis that we are knowingly have some involvement in. We'll, we'll ruminate on the past and recite how our present situations are all caused from it. We'll often exasperate our emotions by telling a negative story over and over. Now, I call this the rinse and the repeat cycle. Taking responsibility is difficult for some people, and often we will deflect any responsibility onto others. Self-loathing and shaming ourselves and others is also a very, very common personality trait. Our energy vibrates lower in this state of being with emotions of frustration, jealousy, anxiety, blame, and overall discontent. Now, this leads to disempowerment by giving our personal power away. None of this will lead to a positive solution or, meaningful relationships, stability, or certainty in our lives. So while behaving as a victim, we will often get people to sympathize with us. Now, this can lead to us sucking others into our low contracted state. You know what? This satisfies us for a time as we receive some attention. Many of us throughout our lives have been deeply invested in this way of being, as there was something to gain from it. Be it attention, as I mentioned earlier, be it passive control, be it emotional manipulation, be it the acquisition of something, all of which is getting us short-term gain for long-term contracted, disappointing living. So probably this feels quite heavy to hear this, especially if you know someone who lives as in this state of being, or maybe you yourself have been there. I certainly have. Now, what if I said to you that you are not a victim in your life, but rather you are the author of your own screenplay, creating the narrative of a fictional story called your life? Before I go any further, let me introduce myself and say, hey, hello, and welcome to my channel. No site required. Thank you. I mean that. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Amber. I'm known as the blind girl who sees, not by way of my eyes, but by way of my heart. I'm 60-ish, living in southwestern Ontario, Canada, as a single, independent woman solopreneur, helping others to reignite their inner power and glow towards living a vibrant, healthy, resilient, and happy life. I'm a certified happy for no reason trainer, energy healer, content creator, international best-selling author, and positive change maker. With my vision loss, I have learned to see my world differently, again, by way of my heart. And I deeply desire for others to reconnect to the part of themselves that knows what living an inspired, happy life is like. So I want to thank you for your understanding as I have to wear these pinhole glasses in order to sit in front of my computer. Without them, I would be so struggling with the lights that are all around me. So with very low vision, I still am gratefully able to maneuver my computer and be able to connect with you here. So again, thank you. So over the course of recording these videos, I desire to share with you many topics that I feel are so necessary. So let's face it, and yes, I know this will be a cliche. Times are changing. Yep. Many people are feeling the heaviness right now. And I would like to shed some light in order to help at raising the consciousness of the world. So today's video is actually one of a four-part video series on different ways of being. By understanding these four ways, basic perspectives, it will help us navigate our life storms a little easier. Now you can check out the first video that gives an overview of what you can expect in this video and the three additional ones that follow. So, why, you wonder? Have I chosen to take on this task? What makes me so qualified? So, the to the point way I can explain is to say, I believe I hold a black belt in the area of life's shitstorms. And guess what? I think I graduated with honors. Even though I am not a doctor of psychology, a behavioral therapist, or an analyst or counselor, I do have one very important asset: personal life experience. Now, I'm not going to get into all the messy bits right now because to say that I'm only going to tell you this, that as a young person, I believe I saw and experienced more than any one person, child should have. So along the way, I'll share a bit about my past with you, but really, right now, all I want to do is save us some time and get right to what's really important. So, can we get started? Okay. Now, if you are living in a mindset and experiencing life as it is happening to you, that you have little or you feel that you have little or no control over your circumstances, that you're stuck in a mucky mess of setbacks, and it is someone else who should take on the responsibility of it. The statement I made earlier, a moment ago, that indicated that you're not a victim and that you are an author of your own screenplay? Yeah, that probably struck you the wrong way, I bet. I no doubt caused some emotions as defensiveness and rebellion and resentment and feelings of being victimized bubbling up within you. You may even had a twinge of feeling helpless, laced with pessimism and or other negative drivers. You likely got a feeling that you have a bit of a dislike for me. And yep, I understand. I truly do. Who, and I can well imagine that what you might be thinking is this: who the hell does she think she is? I'm not the one who ruined my life. I'm just the one cleaning up the bloody mess. It's not my fault, and I'm not to be blamed for that incident. This chick isn't going to tell me that I made my life a mess and that it's my fault. The reason why I suspected those reactions, that was me prior to my sight loss. Like I said, I completely relate. So in this four-part series, I am going to take you through the four basic ways of being that is the base of all human behaviors, which dictates the results we have in every area of our life. Now, throughout our lives, we will travel through all of these four ways of being over and over again, and even combine some of them together. And hey, these aren't the only ways of being. They are the only ways that I have personal experience in. So once you understand where they come from, you will quickly learn that, as I said earlier, you're the author of your own life, and you actually can create whatever screenplay you want. So here we go. The first way of being is this: life is happening to me or to us. It has a tone or a vibration of victimhood, helplessness, defensiveness, resentment, and pessimism, with a personality trait that it lacks self-awareness and accountability. You will have a belief that external factors rather than internal decisions control your life. You can easily blame shift your responsibility onto others. You lack self-awareness of your internal dialogue and behaviors, and they are contributing factors in your circumstances. Now, understand something. I'm not trying to piss you off. This information that I'm sharing is completely based on my own experience in life. And over the next 4 videos in this series, I'll share with you how I fit the mold in each and every one of these ways of being. So here's where it all begins. Our beliefs. It's what we tell ourselves to be true, and we see our life through the lens of our limiting beliefs. Now, some of those beliefs might be, I'm not good enough. Life is tough. It's unfair. I'm trapped and there's no way out. Oh, I'm a failure. I'm not doing it right. It's wrong. I'm doing it wrong. I can never get it right. Everyone is against me. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love, financial abundance, loving relationships, meaningful friendships. My mental state of being is completely beyond my control. I'm sick. People are beggars, stealers, liars, and cheaters. And I'm never, ever going to get ahead. Now, the biggest ones for me personally that completely governed my life were, and in some cases still are, I can't trust anyone. People are not, they want to take advantage of me, and I'm not going to let them. And I need to protect myself. I have to do everything alone. What a crazy list, right? And to think that this list is just a few we embody. Do any of these resonate with you? So here's the deal, folks. When we truly analyze these limiting beliefs, even though they seem real and true, they're almost 100% not true. Most, if not all of them, are completely false. A story we tell ourselves over and over and over again. Now, how we picked up most of our beliefs are when we were young and not capable of the faculty of reasoning. What we were capable of was attaching a meaning or an interpretation on an event that we experienced, however harmless it was. And that meaning stuck all throughout our lives, being validated every single time a similar situation occurred or is occurring in our life today. So here's a sad truth, the real truth. These beliefs are not only false, but for the most part, they belong to someone else. We were indoctrinated with them by well and not so well-meaning individuals. All the people that influenced us in some way, like, parents, teachers, doctors, neighbors, siblings, close friends, and even our ancestors. That's right. These beliefs that we decided were true for us were also passed down from people we never even got to know. That's how powerful they are. So here's another sad truth. Many factors cause us to reinforce these beliefs into adulthood on purpose. Even when we have the faculty of reasoning and discernment and intellectual knowing. The media is one that comes to my mind quickly. However, there are others. How many times have you watched the news, social media feeds, etc., where it's indicating that you are not good enough, where you are flawed in some way, that you will never measure up. You will never have what someone else has. You need to spend in the hope that you can have what others get you to believe you must have. You stay stuck in the loop of comparison, fear, worry, and anxiousness, and on and on. So let's not just look at the negative beliefs. We could just as easily attach a meaning to an event that formed a positive belief in our young sponge-like minds. Beliefs like, oh, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're doing it perfectly. And thank goodness for that. But our reptilian brain won't allow those beliefs to stick to us like Velcro, near as well as our disempowering beliefs will. The positive, empowering beliefs they slide off of us as if we were Teflon in many cases. This is due to the built-in negativity bias that is a part of our ancestral makeup. We are built and hardwired to be negative due to our amygdala, that's another mouthful, that is switched on most of the time. And it being switched on, it activates our flight, fight, freeze, flee, and any other F word that you can come up with. While that was necessary forever ago, it isn't necessary to have that switched on near as much as it is today. Unfortunately, it is switched on way too much and way too often. So do you want some good news? It doesn't have to stay that way. We now know that our brains are malleable, that we can recode it. We're not hardwired and doomed to the negativity and all that it produces, as they once thought. We can create new neural pathways and build new synaptic connections in our brains. So, how do we go from I don't have any control over my life and I'm helpless to make any change, to a belief that is empowering, taking us out of that victim mode? Here it is. By understanding that these beliefs that we carry in our minds and in our hearts, when put to the truth meter, they don't measure up as being true. Seriously, we have been taking fictional stories and telling ourselves these stories all this time. So when you make a decision that you want what you want, and all it will take is deciding to change that limiting belief to one of a more empowering, truthful one, then feeling like a victim and that life is happening to you, It no longer stands up to the test. So here's the real deal, however. We aren't truly focusing on eliminating any negative belief because we are, let's face it, they're relentless and next to impossible to eliminate. How's that for a limiting belief? We empty, or we simply empty and focus on challenging the validity of the belief. And when acknowledging the untruth of it, we not only take the power out of it, we also go to work at opening up what is true. This is the rewiring part. Now, let me ask you something. Have you tried to just stop the crazy chatter in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, you're not doing it right, you're not smart enough to tackle that project, you don't look right in that outfit, you're fat, you're thin, you're ugly, you're tall, you're short, and so on? Good luck with that. Every time I have tried to put a stop to Gabby, my internal nonstop critic, oh my God, she just gets louder and more persistent. She loops the thoughts to the point it drives me crazy. Now, when I don't try to stop the craziness, but rather challenge the thoughts, Gabby doesn't have much to stand on. And eventually, the crazy chatter just settles down. Now, the second component to challenging our limiting beliefs that supports our decision is to install new thoughts that support us and make a habit of it. Now, I call these healthy, happy habits. And these suggestions can be found in many of my content material that I will leave links to down in the description box below, along with some free stuff for you. So now you have just a tiny little explanation about beliefs. I'll share more detail at another time. Let's get back to this particular way of being. Life is happening to me or to us. Let me give you an example in my own life as to how I was able to recognize that I was living this way of being and finally move beyond it, living a much more joyful, purposeful, happy life. Now, I had several events in my childhood where I attached a meaning of not being able to trust anyone. Now, I took this very deeply rooted belief into my young adulthood, where it ruined friendships, relationships, isolating myself, communicating mostly with reaction and not response, being easily triggered, becoming an overachiever, hypervigilant perfectionist, with obsessive compulsive tendencies and strong controlling tendencies. I had to be in control because I couldn't trust anyone, according to me, that is. I had extreme difficulty forgiving people, extreme self-reliant, and you know what? Emotionally unavailable. Now, can you see how it was a life of victimhood, that I was living a life as a victim? This belief cost me deeply throughout my adulthood. Now, at some point, when my life was getting, I'm just going to say, really messy, I stumbled upon some really great mentors who helped me open up Pandora's box and to see how my life's experiences were all a reflection of my way of being and what beliefs I held to be true. Now, my first response to this knowledge, as you might imagine, was, WT hell? You're trying to tell me that my belief of not being able to trust anyone, which, by the way, I protected with all my might as true was in fact not true? Are you are you kidding me? The manipulation, the betrayal, the abandonment, the sickness, the NDE was my fault? Of course I retaliated. I reacted with anger because my brain wasn't willing to give that belief up. That's how I figured that you might also react the same way when I offered you my opening statement. Slowly, slowly, I would challenge my inner dialogue, the stories that all stem from my beliefs, by overriding them for a more empowering one. Was it easy? Nope. Still isn't really with some of them because they're so ingrained. They're so deeply rooted. Now, but the difference now is when I hear my internal dialogue going off, I am better able to recognize when I am in this contracted emotional state, meaning negative emotions. I'm able to see that it is spawned from a deeply rooted belief that needs to be challenged. Now, putting it to the test of what is absolutely true, I'm able to disarm and take the steam out of this disempowering belief. Now, please understand, in my experience, this process is not a one and done deal. I'll offer some exercises in just a few moments that will get you out of these moments of discontent and disempowerment in order to help you see your world differently. So here are ways to move beyond this negative perspective. Number one, the biggest and fastest way that I know of to take the steam out of this negative thinking process is to first acknowledge that you are in a contracted state of being, and then to be totally aware of the stories you are telling yourself. Do this as an observer and not be critical of yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Remind yourself these beliefs and all your thoughts, they're not you. They're just thoughts. It's just inner dialogue that is happening that supports continued contracted thinking, acting, and being. So start to question your internal thoughts and the thinking stream for just the truth. Now, what I mean by the thinking stream, we will have an internal thought that will start the steady stream of what I call the thinking train. That once it leaves the station, you are on board, honey, and you can't get off. I'm sure you've been there. Hours can go by. And you just get sucked into this dialogue, the thinking train, with the plethora of emotions that strengthen the thoughts. Tell me I'm right on that. So once you become aware, look out for only the facts. We do this by separating the story from the facts. Now, no one said, except ourselves, that our beliefs are accurate. So once you extract all the embellishments, the story from the bare facts, you will find that what you were thinking wasn't true. Stripped down version. It now loses its negativity steam. It does so very quickly. So this is not a one-and-time deal, as I've mentioned. As deep as these limiting beliefs are, so too will it take patience and understanding for yourself to create new grooves in the brain, new beliefs. This is why I believe that creating healthy, happy habits is so important. So number two, then look within to see what is the belief that's lurking behind these stories. There will always be one or more. However, sometimes they're so deeply hidden, it's hard to recognize them. Now, if you find it difficult to uncover your limiting beliefs, a good reveal is to look for clues in your current circumstances, events, and themes that seem to be on a, well, like I said before, a rinse and repeat cycle. Your life is a direct reflection of what you believe to be true. I'm pretty sure you've heard that before. Okay, number three. Once you recognize a belief that is at the very root of your thoughts, stories, and life experiences, you'll totally see that they weren't really true. So from there, go to town at validating what is true. Keep asking yourself, if my belief and thoughts aren't true, what is the truth? And how can I know what is the truth with proof? Well, guess what? Our brains are miraculous, goal achieving, well, for me, machines. It will answer any question you think or say to ask. It will go to town at checking out your data banks, called your memory, right up to current time, and answer that thought. You know this to be true. Just think something like, man, am I gaining weight, as you look at yourself in the mirror. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. I am looking old and withered today. Another one is, why is my kid acting this way? And my damn car is a piece of shit. Your brain immediately agrees with you and validates all the reasons why you thought that that particular thought was true. You will hear the thought reply, yep, you couldn't get into your summer jeans yesterday. And you feel that roll right now wrapped around your waist? That's no tire, honey. That's fat. You betcha you're looking old. Wrinkles galore. Don't forget you canceled your facial last month and you decided to not continue buying that $150 moisturizer. Of course you're looking old. And to top it, add the stress on top. And what about the kid? Whose fault is it? This kid is acting this way because of his father, her mother, her sister, her aunt, her teacher, and so on and so forth. It's a lost cause. Of course, my car is a piece of shit. The hubby thought there was nothing wrong with it, and he didn't get it checked out. This is the result. And so on. Tell me I'm telling you the truth. So, your brain will naturally and immediately go to work at recalling times in your life to support the thought that you choose to incubate. Knowing this, why not use your brain to validate empowering thoughts? Why not try this? Think instead, I'm actually doing really well. My life isn't that bad. Your brain will reply, yup, I'm right. I have some money in the bank. I'm on my feet and not 6 feet under. My kids, family, hubby, wife, friends, they care about me. And my car, it's drivable. At least have a car. Stick with it, as it will take time and a lot of patience. It's like a pump. Sometimes needs priming. At first, the brain will be extremely sluggish at coming up with memories that validate the truth because, frankly, you've trained it otherwise. With persistence, however, when thinking the empowering thoughts, you will begin to notice the brain validating with much better quality results. Think of asking, here's an example. Think of asking AI for some information, or that you're just asking it to do something for you. The information that you are asking has to be specific, has to be accurate. Giving it quality instructions and questions, the results, they'll get better. Have you played around with AI? Is that not, again, the truth? I know my experience is that if I ask a low quality question, I don't get what it is I'm looking for. So this is how we challenge our beliefs, and we begin to make new grooves in our brain. So in a later episode, I'm going to go much, much deeper on how this happens and what part of our brain is responsible for our focus. Okay. Number 4, as soon as you begin to feel emotional expansion, meaning positive emotions, then you ping the empowering thoughts and new beliefs and keep it in the forefront of your mind. So take a few minutes to marinate in a new emotion that supports the new thinking process. You will need to call on it and this process over and over in order to form a new groove in the brain. So the part of the brain that stores all of our memories and disempowering thinking doesn't want to give up very easily. Remember our negativity bias? It's the very oldest part of our brain that simply wants to keep us safe, as it did a millennia ago. So it's going to take some patience and persistence. So here's an exercise that might help you. You are in a negative loop process. You are having contracted emotions that support a way of being that life is happening to you. People are against you, and let's use a particular example. Let's say your partner, that you are having a difficult time in the relationship with your partner right now, and you're questioning whether you want to even remain in the relationship. All the stories you are telling yourself support what is absolutely wrong, and that you feel helpless, misunderstood, frustrated at the circumstances, and you don't know how to change it. Except, of course, you know what, that the grass might just be greener on the other side of the fence. You begin to fantasize, but you still do nothing about it except complain, blame, and shame yourself and your partner. So once you're able to get a handle on what is happening, stop. As an observer of your thoughts now, recognize what's happening. You are creating stories and are setting up a screenplay based on fiction. So take a moment and rate your overall emotion or situation that has you feeling victimized. Use a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being that you are extremely depressed, despondent, helpless, and you just want to give up and surrender to a life of the same. 10, on the other hand, being that there isn't a problem at all. There never was one. And in fact, your life and relationship is absolutely perfect. Okay. So once you have a number in your mind, and don't overthink this, okay? You will intuitively know where you are on this scale. Simply ask yourself, why did I choose that number and not a number 1? The minute you do that, your brain, your goal-achieving brain, will go to work to validate reasons why. Stay with it, asking over and over again until you begin to pull yourself out of this contracted way of being. For those now who did choose a number one in the ranking, I want you to acknowledge this fact. You're still alive. You are breathing. And while being in this conversation with me right here, right now, you're all right. You do have choice in your life, even though you don't believe so. What is so bad after this realization that you would choose a number one? Is it really, really that bad? So in those cases, you are likely so deeply entrenched in this way of being that you simply, you just can't see the bigger picture. So this exercise has the capability to change our perspective with an almost instant change in our emotions, resulting in our actions, situations, and events improving, getting better. Now, so this is known, this exercise, it's known as the Sedona method. And I highly recommend that you do this anytime that you get yourself into a negative loop of thinking about a situation. Now, another highly accredited exercise that is really, really well known is by Byron Katie. And what she offers is called The Work by Byron Katie. So she talks us through a series of questions that challenges our beliefs and thoughts. So here's the questions, and they go something like this. Number one, is it true? Is it true? Number two, if you answered yes, it is true, then the second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true? Most cases, no. The third question, how do you react when you believe this thought that you are absolutely convinced is true? Number four, who would you be without this thought? That's powerful. And the last one, once you become deeply realized, then she asks that you turn the thought around by asking the exact opposite, for the purpose of seeing if that perspective might be just as true or truer than the original thought or belief. So by doing the work, it can help you gain new insights and perspectives and ultimately find more peace and freedom in your thoughts. Give it a go. It's amazing. So what comes to mind for me right now is the lyrics to a song that, what really touched me years ago. It was sung by Nickelback. Now, I don't know all the words off by heart, but just the ones that really kind of hit the heart, okay? So it goes something like this. Each day is a gift, and it's not a given right. Leave your fears behind. If today was your last day and tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye to yesterday and live each day like it was your last? What's worth the prize is worth the fight. Would you forgive your enemies? Call on your friends you haven't seen? Finally fall in love? Okay, that's all I can remember. But that's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful song. Lyrics. I really could go on and on and on about this topic, and I don't want to, for time purposes, of course, but I don't need to strangle this by staying stuck here. So let me offer you just a few more quick suggestions. However, I will go deeper into this in later videos. So, number one, to get out of victim mode, this is what I suggest. Start to work on a forgiveness practice. Begin to get real with yourself without beating yourself up, that is, and see how you are a part of the unfolding of your life, and see where you can take back your power by being responsible for your life. Work on your grievances. Holding grudges, you know what? It keeps you hostage of the past and stuck and does nothing to the person that you have a grievance in or with. What you will hopefully find is this, that you will begin to crack open the idea that life isn't happening to you at all. It's not our problems, our challenges, our setbacks, and negative circumstances that keep us feeling defeated and victimized. That it is our thinking that keeps us stuck. And our stories that we continually tell ourselves that keeps us in this negative loop of victimhood. So from there, you will begin to have more expanded, meaning positive emotions, empowering experiences and emotions that take you out of the feeling that life is against you. So with a lighter, happier mindset, you'll start to realize that life is happening for you, because of you, and most importantly, as you. So I'm going to conclude this video. If you were touched in any way, feel free to comment below and let's have a conversation together. This channel is for you, and if you want to share, I and others would absolutely and gratefully receive your comments. Please just remember that I ask that you keep your comments in a high vibe, keep it clean, keep it real, keep it on topic, please. Also, by subscribing to this channel, it's another way for me to be able to reach other individuals who really may need this information in order to make a positive, powerful shift in their lives. You know what? You would have a part in that by subscribing. So please consider doing so and making a positive shift with me. Okay? I'll see you in the next video, where I'm going to discuss the second basic way of being, and that is life is happening for you.